have you left the house at all over the last, I don't know, handfuls of weeks?
Yes.
Are you still working?
Occasionally, not so much. Just around town mostly.
Yeah.
I do a lot of the work from, actually, this is kind of my office right here where I am. I own a plumbing company.
Mm-hmm.
So I laid off all my guys,
Mm.
and but we're returning. I just told them that we're returning on the 26th of, let me see, the 26th of July, I believe. We're all going back to work. It was better for them to get laid off. They actually, some of them are making more money being laid off because of the federal subsidy of $600 a week.
Right.
So it was good for some of the guys that didn't make that much money. So,
Right.
but yeah, so yeah, I just take care of some of my clients that are, friends and stuff like that, and we'll deal with that later. But yeah, so.
How often do you get a panicked call from your friends that they just want you to come over and check something out?
You know what? I don't really get panic calls, but that is a funny question because people do want to get together, and I have people that are friends that will get together in small crowds, and then there are people that I have that are friends that will not get together whatsoever. They're still inside their house.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I live in the suburbs now. I grew up in the city, but
Yeah.
I'm down in Canton, and it's the houses aren't close together. You have a lot of room. You can go out by the fire pit. You can easily social distance and have a blast. So.
Yeah. I actually did one of those for the first time about 2 weekends ago. I had a handful of friends over, and we sat outside, far away from each other, and we just got to have conversations that we haven't gotten to have in, on day like 300, it feels like. Yeah. So let's talk about you, Jerry Lehane. You're sort of like you're like a Boston rock star. What does that feel like?
Well, I've never ever. It's kind of ridiculous to say that, but no, I'm fortunate to be able to have played some music that I've written myself in clubs that I never thought I would ever get a chance to play at, because I was always a fan of Boston music, and before I started playing. So it was good to be able to do that, and get to play with some of your idols and your heroes. So that was a lot of fun.
When I think about I didn't come up through the Boston music scene until college in like the mid to late 90s, and by that time the Dogmatics had sort of come and gone. And I know that the band had gotten together a couple of times after sort of the official breakup when Paul, one of the founding members, passed away. But when I hear the Dogmatics, I think of like that's the Boston rock sound.
Oh, thank you. There's a lot of people. I mean, I think at the time in the early '80s, when we were starting to practice and trying to get shows, the Boston rock sound for us was the Real Kids, the Liars, the Neats, and those were bands that I would go see, and then the next thing you know, we're opening for them, and then so it was surreal. You couldn't even imagine that, because you're a huge fan, you want to talk to the band, and the next thing you know, you become friends with them. And that's even better. So I think we're lumped into that category of being that Boston rock sound, and I think comparing us to the Real Kids or the Liars, I think that's fair, but the Neats not so much. They're a little bit more jangly, sort of psychedelic sort of sounding. But early sound was a blast. It was a blast. It was easy.
Nothing's easy anymore.
I know.
I was thinking about the last time I was in a venue to see live music, and I think it was February.
Yeah, the last time I was out was March 12th. We went out for my wife's sister's birthday to the Lower Mills Tavern in Dorchester to celebrate her birthday. And my son, who plays high school hockey, was about to play at the Boston Garden, and the next day they told him it's over. They're not letting anyone do anything. And I remember that. It was, yeah, and then it just came down, and, but people figure it out,
Yeah.
I know that you like to go out to the club still, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't go out, I used to go out every night.
Me too.
I can't do that anymore. I definitely can't do that.
Every night. No. Well, you're younger than me. Can you imagine? I'm 59, so I was doing that till not that long ago. I was going out seeing bands every night, and my ears have definitely paid the price, but got to see a lot of great bands, a lot of good memories. I hope that it does get back to how it was. It all depends. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think it'll happen next year. But, bands have figured out how to do it. We did something just recently through Sean McNally. I don't know if you know Sean.
Yep.
So Sean set something up for a channel podcast, and I went down to Scituate, and one of the kids that's playing kind of our fifth Dogmatic, Jay Young, he's playing mandolin with us right now. Really refreshing, kind of changing it up a little bit. And we played on his porch.
That's cool, though.
And
when was the last time you did that?
Oh, it was awesome. It was so much fun. And then so Tommy Long, our drummer, didn't make it, and Peter O'Halloran, Paul's twin brother, his younger son, Finn, played drums, which was just a snare. It was pretty cool. He drove his bike over from the house, pulled up on his Stingray, set up his little snare, and it was awesome. And then he left afterwards. Yeah, it was fun. It was, kind of, and yeah, I think we did a full set. We had a blast, and had some pizza after that, and I drove back home.
How long had it been between, I know Dogmatics put out a record, last summer, right around, almost right around this time.
I think we recorded it in the summertime, and then the official release was in October. It was out a little earlier than that, but I believe that Lou put it out, to
Lou from Rum Bar Records.
Yeah, however he does it. I don't know how he does it, but he sent it out.
Yep.
And that was a blast. We did in October we did like an official record release party here in Norwood at the Newbury Comics. And that was surprising. Like 200 people showed up, and we were like, wow, on an afternoon, there's no bar there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people like to see us. They like to drink at the same time. So that it was surprising. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they had stuff in the.
Oh, I'm sure they did. I'm sure of it.
Parking lot. I don't know.
I'm sure of it. Let me ask you this. So I love all the Dogmatic stuff. I've always, like I said, I just, it's like synonymous with the Boston sound. I want to ask you one question, one more Dogmatics question, then I want to talk about your solo record.
Okay.
The Christmas song, Sure Don't Feel Like Christmas, I think that is the Boston Christmas song. Is there any other song that rivals it? I don't think so.
No, and I think it it is. I don't know of another, a Boston band that has written a Christmas song that is as relevant. The lyrics are pretty poignant, and it's been covered by the Boss Tones.
Even still, even
recently
now.
With the letters to Cleo, but it was very thoughtful. It's kind of sad. Like when you listen to it, that's the and if you hear the original version, it was recorded with 8-track at Radio Beat. But it was done really well. We had Jonathan Paley produce it, and he kind of showed us this way of producing and mixing that we had never used before. We pre-mixed everything, and we used the Phil Spector beat for the drums, which they're the same chords throughout the song, but because of the Phil Spector beat, it changes up the chorus and the lyrics, kind of speeds up the chorus, and it makes the song. But yes, good song. It's always done. It's amazing. It brings, you hear it, we hear it, we play it. Yeah, you get misty over it. It's a sad song, but Paul was a great writer.
Yeah.
And we just recently, someone sent us a tape from Metrowave in 1983 where Carmelita is the DJ. So I don't know if she was going to school there at the time, or, she had graduated and she still was working there. At any rate, there's a song on there called Acid Rain that Paul wrote, and we've always been trying to figure out the lyrics. We knew like one set of the lyrics, and we've got them. We're probably going to re-record that song and release it.
Great.
Yeah, and I mean, another like gem, I mean, just amazing lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
Writing about acid rain back then. He was a great writer.
Yeah, we have it, but we just don't call it that anymore.
Right.
Right,
Right, exactly.
Just the language has changed, but the effects haven't.
Yep.
You put out a solo record, a Jerry Lehane 5-song EP.
Yep.
But there's a story behind it. Tell me about the process of making a record those years ago. 91 is when you did it, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And this is the first time it's seen the light of day this year?
Yes.
Why?
Well, it was one of those things. I've had it for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was recorded really well. At that time, I was in between bands, and I had written some songs, and I was able to handpick friends that I had made over the year. Hamilton was working over at Synchro Sound, and he pretty much let me come in for nothing, but I had to go in at 12, come in at midnight. Okay? So, and then you ask your friends to do the same thing. And back then I didn't have a pot to piss in. So I was like, songs, they like the song. So they've been sitting around for a while. Lou asked me, do I have any recordings of my old bands? And I sent him a whole bunch of different bands, Matt Weeds, Hotbox, Buddhist Priest. And then
Buddhist Priest is the best name ever.
And then I sent him this stuff, and he said, "This is really good, Jerry. Do you mind putting it out?" And I said, "Well, I have a couple of more songs that I'm going to record with that written." And so we would kind of put that on the back burner. He goes, "Why don't you put out these 5 songs, see how it does? And just a little test. We'll just do a small run." And that's what we've done. And then all the people that I've played with, I played with or recorded with in the studio, they're all still alive. So that's a good thing. I let them know ahead of time. They've since received, they were so psyched. They were like, "Oh, this sounds great. I can't believe this is seeing the light of day."
Yeah.
And, so yeah, it's out there. And the funny thing, I'm sick of it right now because I've had it now for 2 months, and I don't know if you know about this Radio Indie Alliance. You've probably seen Justine on there,
Yep.
and the Unclean, and all of Rum Bar's band. It's kind of a small coalition of all these indie streaming labels that have joined together and created like a pretty cool little scene. And so it's getting tons of airplay on there, and that's what I mean. So it hasn't even dropped or whatever they say.
Yeah.
Whatever
Not officially until the 12th, right?
12th, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the CDs will be out. And so it's funny because I have some advanced CDs that I've given to some of my friends, and they're like, "I don't even have a CD player."
It's a sad state. I know.
They're like, "Do you have something electronically?" And I'm like, you can go to Bandcamp and you can download it and pay $1 for a song, and you can own it. But yeah, so it's all good, all good. I'm happy with it. You know, I have to learn how to play those songs again, though. That's the other thing. You know.
Well, it looks like you've got a little time because
But
you have until at least 2021
you think so?
before anybody's gonna, want you to or give you an opportunity to play them somewhere.
So we're in phase two. We're in phase two,
We're
part two.
entering 3, right?
Right, but we're in part two of phase two.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sub. And
Yeah.
so we're going to phase three where the restaurants or bars, that's right, cannot open unless they sell food. So,
Right.
So when phase four happens, I imagine, who knows what the capacity is going to be. So that's the issue, I think. When you go to a bar, say you go to Sally O'Brien's, for instance, okay, small, all of 6 beers. You think they're going to care about social distance after that? They're not, right? They won't give a shit. They won't care at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is, and you see it now already with businesses, the burden's going to be on the businesses, right?
Correct.
You're going to go into people's houses. So the burden's going to be on you guys to, you're going to have a mask. What else are they getting? Gloves. You're going to have to go in and check someone's stuff with like gloves and a mask on. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Right?
going to be hard. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. I don't know. Unless they find a vaccine.
I'm just, I've never had such belief and optimism for science in my life before now.
I know.
I've never been, one of those people who's like, I don't believe in that, but I've never believed in it more than right now. Like, please, the smartest ones.
Are you from Massachusetts?
I am. And we're in one of the best places to be, right? In terms of technology and science and medicine.
Was it yesterday or the day before? We didn't have one single death, I believe.
That's right.
So that was pretty amazing. Yeah.
We have managed to flatten the curve. So let's hope that we can continue. People seem to be wise enough to put a mask on or just stay home. That's what I've been doing.
Well, I think that there's a big percentage that aren't, but there's an overwhelming percentage, maybe 80 to 20, where maybe down in the South it's the other way around.
Yeah.
And that's why you're seeing what's happening down there. So.
But some of those states going to drag their feet on it too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're not going to close. We're not going to do anything. We're going to change. We're going to see how it goes. And now we're seeing very, very high numbers, which is scary. It's scary.
Well, right, because someone gets on an airplane, they come here. Kids are going back to school or not going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I feel bad for parents with little kids.
Yep.
They've been dealing with this since March. There's no end in sight.
True.
It's not likely that at least the elementary schools are going to go back right away. How do you have a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old that's going to keep a mask on and distance all day long? I don't know. How do you do that?
It's true. Though I remember when my kids were young, we were both working, me and my wife, and we put them in kindercare, which is like a daycare, right?
Yeah.
And they'd put 30 kids, 25 kids in a room with not home, but they built up their immune system. So kids are resilient. I think it's going to be harder for the older kids, but but also parents are so protective of their young kid that they'll be no way. I'll homeschool. I'll bring in a private nanny.
Good for you. We ate dirt.
I'm not saying
lived.
me. I'm just.
We ate dirt.
Right,
We're
exactly.
alive. I rode my bike with no shoes on. I still have all my toes. So what's in I would say that the not too distant future, but it looks like we have to plan a couple extra months out, Jerry. What's next for you? What do you have planned? More solo music, more Dogmatic stuff? You're going to record that Acid Rain song?
I'm sorry?
Did you just lose me?
No, you were like, you know how sometimes it stutters or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you said, what do you have?
What's next? What do you have on the agenda for the next, well, couple of months?
Well, for the next couple of months, my daughter came home from college, so she's home. She's not going back to UMass.
Wow.
She's a junior, but she can actually take 2 classes. She's so far ahead of the game that she could graduate as a junior that she's gonna do 2 Zoom, not Zoom classes. I think they call them Zoom classes,
Yeah,
from the
probably.
house here, save some money on room and board. My other son is about to go to college,
Ah.
but that's up in the air right now because they don't know if he plays football and hockey. They don't even know if they're going to play. They don't know if they're going to have classes. So right now, we're not sure if we're going to defer. Anyways, he's home too. So get a full house here.
Mm.
I have my friend Ed Reamer. I don't know if you know Ed, but Ed's he played in Band 19, old Richie Parsons band. He played it. Maybe some of the people there was a Yes cover band that just played at the Lizard Lounge. He's always the bass player. He's a fantastic musician, but he's also a great studio guy. So I've been working with him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's a couple of blocks away. So I'll probably work with him. He's showing me some techniques with harmonizing and structuring songs a little bit better. And so I plan on doing that. And then as far as the dogs go, I have a studio right here in my house on the other, over the garage.
Mm-hmm.
It's all set up, and that's where we rehearse. So as soon as they say they're ready to come down, they'll come down, but they're not ready yet.
Mm.
We used to do that every Saturday or Sunday in the afternoon. It was a blast.
Yeah.
That's more fun than actually playing at a club.
Yeah.
Well, it is, yeah. I mean, it is, because we're not playing the whole time. We're talking and just having,
We're catching up too.
Right, exactly, yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to a time where we can all see each other out in person again. That would be great.
There you go. You haven't come back. I know. So, it's funny. I don't know if you remember, a long time ago, you, which was very nice of you, you asked us to play as the surprise band at the Rumble at TT Years. That was a blast. I can't remember the band who won.
I think that was 2011.
I think you're correct, yeah.
It was 2011, and the finalists were John Pohada International Airport, who won.
Yeah.
Old Jack was one of the finalists. Spirit Kid. That was a great year. That was the first year after BCN went away. That was sort of a banner year for the Rumble that year, because we had a year off, and then we sort of returned like full speed ahead. So
yeah,
that was a great year.
Yeah, you did a really good job with that. I mean, and that's always been it's a fun thing for bands. You think, people in the old days when it was run by BCN, everyone was like, oh, it's fixed and it's, and it's just because people are so cynical. But no matter what, all the bands got up for it. And you could go to a Monday or Tuesday night and the place would be jam-packed, because everyone was going to show off their best stuff that night, so it's always a good time. So.
Do you remember when the Dogmatics did the Rumble? It was like 85. Does that sound right? Do you remember your year?
It was 84. I remember the bands we played against. We played against O Positive.
Oh man.
Down Avenue. I'm playing golf with David Hurley tomorrow.
He's the best. Tell him I said hi.
I will. So. Avenue and Rash of Stabbings from Rhode Island.
That's an awesome band name too, Rash of Stabbings.
So the funniest thing about that, our sound man, who was named Mr. Beautiful, I don't know if you remember him. Remember he put out that compilation? Anyways, they used to also call him Mr. Available because so he wasn't that good of a sound man. But so after we played our set, I remember him coming up and he goes, "You guys, that was the best set you ever did. It's in the bag. You're going to win. It's unbelievable." We came in dead last.
Oh.
Which was fine. And the band that we Down Avenue ended up winning the whole thing, and they were kind of like they were
Kind of new wave-ish, right?
they certainly weren't. It was a rock and roll rumble, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
Down Avenue, that's the band that Alvin played in, the drummer, right?
Alvin Long played in that, and Charles Pettigrew, he was the singer. He's passed away since, but he was very talented,
Yeah.
but definitely like a new wave, almost disco band.
Wow.
So far away from rock and roll, it was pretty funny, but it was the time,
Yeah.
So.
Well, people were getting on board for the disco. I mean, even Kiss got on board for the disco.
Sad.
Oh. Well, I wish you a very happy 4th of July weekend.
Thank you.
Whatever you may do. Tell Dave I said hi.
I will.
I really dig the EP, and I love
good.
the Dogmatic stuff that you guys put out.
Thank you.
In the cover that you guys did. Keep me posted with what's happening with you. And if I need any help with my pipes, I'll give you a call.
Absolutely. Okay. It was so nice talking to you. You have a wonderful 4th, okay?
You do as well. Thanks so much, Jerry. Take care.
All right, sweetie. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Boston Emissions with Angel Wood.